There are so many components to health and wellness. And as you guys know, skincare is a big part of that for me, as well as the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, diet, and lifestyle. But in today's video, I want to talk about fitness and why I started working out, some of the things that I've done so far, and some of the things that I have learned. Hey guys, welcome back to SheriApproved. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new, welcome. And if you're already a part of the SheriApproved family, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today's video is a little bit different, more of a chat type video. And it's probably not going to be for the gym pyongs, the gym experts, although I would really love for you guys to leave your best advice in the comments down below. But I'm really doing this video for those of you who may have started working out or started fitness and you've stopped, those of you who might be thinking of doing it, and those of you who at this moment have absolutely no intention to start. I really think you need to hear this. As I told you guys several months ago at the beginning of the year and last year as well, I began a health journey and so many things have happened in such a short period of time. In February of this year, I decided that I really wanted to actually go to the gym. Of course, my husband has been supportive throughout this entire thing, and so we agreed and we decided that we'll do it together. So we decided to start in March. Now, have I been absolutely consistent since March? No. Life happened, health happened. Some of those I would have spoken about on like Instagram stories, different reasons that would have kept me out of the gym. But for the most part, once I could have been there, I have been there. Prior to this, like many of you, I was doing workouts at home. You pull up a YouTube video, you find somebody who is doing something kind of similar to probably what you want to do, and you've been following along. And I was doing that, a couple of times through the week just to get some movement in. I would get a good sweat. I was doing it for a significant period of time, and I was getting frustrated because I wasn't seeing the changes in my body that I probably wanted. I wasn't even feeling what I probably expected to feel. I wasn't losing weight. And then a lot of information started to come across my feed when I would go on social media about perimenopause. And I have mentioned this to you guys. So perimenopause is that 7 to 10 year period before you actually hit menopause. So if you're in your 40s, perhaps you're in your late 30s, you are already going through perimenopause. And I feel like for me, not at 40, but when I turned 41, I felt like there was some kind of weird shift in my body. I started to feel things, experience things that I probably didn't experience before, or maybe I should say it started to come on a little bit stronger. So I started to take notice like, things are not exactly how it used to be. And while weight loss was always something that I struggled with my entire life, I was able to lose 50 pounds like more than 10 years ago, keep it off for a good period of time. I was going good, and then postpartum, I have just never been able to bounce back. And now that I'm in my 40s, realizing these things happening, realizing like I'm struggling even more, and then starting to see this information, hear about the impacts on the body, how it affects so many things. I felt like that information was almost kind of like an intervention by God, like, Sherry, you need to prepare for this. You need to start making some drastic changes in your life. I mean, I had my daughter at what is considered advanced maternal age. So I was 36 when I had Hadassah. And that means that if I want to be around and strong for a long time, I really need to like make some drastic changes now so that I could be around for her for as long as I can. At that point in February, when we were discussing this, weight loss wasn't so much the focus as just being healthy. And I think that was one of the big mind shifts that has really helped me. I really just wanted to be healthy. So my husband started to scout and check out a couple gyms, and he kind of knows what I want. I'm very, very body conscious. It needed to be somewhere, and it also needed to be at a time where the gym is not very, very full, and I'm not like meeting up a whole set of people because I also don't like that. And he found one. We went there, we signed up, and we started. And the trainer I met there was one of the most pivotal moments. No joke. He would tell me, Sherry, you are here now, just come. And we started to have like all these conversations about my health, my history, different things that I would be experiencing or feeling in my body, just like random things, random things. And I literally felt like he understood. So I would explain something, and then he would explain something with regards to the body. Like, he is so knowledgeable about the anatomy, body structure, etc. The other thing was that he kept explaining to me that you need to take in consideration your age, where you are at right now, in order to be able to work out effectively. Now, although in those early stages, he was the person on the floor during the time that I would actually go to the gym, he would give me some tips and point me to do certain types of exercises, etc. And then I think it was one day, he said, Sherry, let me show you something. And he started to explain to me why I needed to work first on my mobility before I could do certain exercises, like the things I probably wanted to jump on because everybody else was doing that, or what I thought I needed. He's like, even before you get there, there are certain things that you need to do in your body. And he was able to point out certain things. So he was like, you've been at a desk job for a long time, right? So he could tell that based on my posture, based on where I would have adhesions, based on my flexibility or lack thereof. Doing something else, he asked me, like, do you play an instrument like the piano or something? And I'm like, yeah, I've been playing the piano since I was 9 years old. And he was like, he could tell based on how I would actually hold things, based on my grip, different things he would notice, and therefore he would make recommendations. I think it was on that particular day, I'm like, okay, no, I really, really need the one-on-one guidance. And I didn't even go there looking to hire a trainer or get a trainer, but he got the job. These last 3 months especially has been so good for me. One of the main things that I have learned from my trainer, from my own experience, and from watching other people is that form is everything when you want to do any type of exercise or any type of movement. There are so many people in the gym, and I'm talking about people who might be in the gym and working out for years, and they are doing things without the correct form for their body structure, their body shape, for their height, and repeating these movements while you might be seeing certain results in certain ways, you may actually be creating injury. And why I say that was one of the big things that I learned is because I was accustomed to looking at videos on YouTube, etc., from like really good fitness people that are very, very popular, people whose programs work. But just watching somebody on the screen and doing an action, thinking you're duplicating the action, is exactly that. It's really just thinking. You might be watching yourself in the mirror and you think you might be doing that, but there are so many cues and individual things in specific movements that you may not be thinking about, that they may not necessarily explain at the moment because the whole workout is going and people are following. So things that you may need to be conscious of for your own body, you may completely miss that because nobody explained it. Nobody taught us how to do that. And the more I started to work out, do these movements, understand my body, get in tuned into this is how I know something feels off. This is how I know something feels right. I was mind blown. So my trainer spent a lot of time focusing on form. And some people may have been looking at what I was doing in the gym and thinking, she's not really making progress because, how much of this she's actually doing. But what he wanted to do was make sure that I was executing the right form for every particular movement and repeating that. So I commit that to muscle memory. And that way, even if he's not there, even if I'm working out while I'm abroad, I can tell if I'm doing something right or I'm doing something wrong. I never would have thought that I would have needed a trainer. And now I realize the value and the importance of his expertise and his knowledge and his training to really help me do this the best way that I can for my body. The next thing is, of course, consistency. Consistency is important for everything. But guys, I was only going 3 days per week because 3 days per week is all I could have afforded in terms of time and my schedule. And although I was giving just 3 days per week, he would tell me, Sherry, just come. 3 days per week is a start. Only recently, like literally 3 weeks ago, I started going 4 days per week. So that's a big thing for me that I'm able to now add an extra day. And when I started, I also didn't think that I would eventually add days. I was not even thinking about that. And now I'm actually thinking about how can I get to be in the gym 5 days for the week because I'm realizing how much I actually need it. My workouts are around 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. That time flies so fast. And it will include mobility and stretches. I'll do a little bit of cardio. When I say a little bit of cardio, like 10 to 15 minutes, really just to get the heart rate up. And the majority of time is used for strength training. And of course, the workout will end with stretches. And yeah, if you had told me that I would be in the gym for 90 minutes or 2 hours, I would never believe you because my goal was, listen, they say to get like 20 to 30 minutes of a certain amount of exercise so many days for the week. And that was my goal, like to get 30, 45 minutes max. And when I realized, like, oh my goodness, you know, I could accomplish so much. I also need to have time or rest periods in between certain movements and so on. That time is like, the time becomes like nothing. The other thing when it comes to my frequency of workouts and so on is that I actually really just work out 3 out of 4 weeks every month. So immediately you're seeing like in every month, I'm losing a week, and that week is the week of my period. For those of you who are able to work out during your period, like, enough respect, I just can't. During my period, I have like very, very low energy. My flow is also very heavy, so I'm uncomfortable. I really don't want to be outside. I really don't want to be concerned about that excessive bleeding, etc. So I just take those days off, and when it's over, I start back, and my trainer is completely on board with that. If I just message him and say, you're just not going to see me for the next few days, he completely understands, and he'll be like, yeah, just focus on rest right now. We'll be back at it. I also missed almost a whole month during July because of the endoscopy and, you know, everything that happened after that. So if you've been following me on Instagram, I told you guys that H. pylori bacteria was found in my stomach. And because of that, I had to go through something called triple therapy that included 2 very strong antibiotics and a proton pump inhibitor for my stomach. And that knocked me out real bad. When I mean knocked me out real bad, like, the side effects of those medications were, whew, I couldn't function, and I had to take the antibiotics for 2 weeks. And even after that period finished, I still, no. I really hope that I don't have to go through that again, and I don't wish that experience on anyone. It literally took me like about a week and a half again after that to kind of catch myself and then go back to the gym. So I kind of lost a whole month there, but that didn't stop me, because even during that period, although I knew that my body couldn't handle it, I was so longing to be there. Just find the frequency that's going to work for you. If you could just do 2 days, like 2 days is a great start. Just be consistent with those 2 days. You know, give yourself grace. Your body is going to need rest that time. Listen to your body. There's some days you're going to be able to do more than others. That's okay. The key is giving what you can and when you can, and just continuing with that. Next point I want to raise is with regards to strength training. And I know we might be hearing this all over the place, but if you are at my age, strength training needs to be the core of your workouts. Just read up on it, check the research, check what doctors have to say, check what like fitness experts who know and who understand what women's bodies are going through during perimenopause, during menopause, and they're going to tell you, we are going to work this entire routine and your recommendations around strength training. Yes, some cardio, yes, some walking and all of that, but that strength training is where the focus definitely needs to be. Perhaps that scares you. When you think about strength training, you're thinking about weights. And one of the things with me is that I realize in all of this, like, I am pretty weak. But that's okay. You start with the weight that you can. Is 5 pounds, you're going to start with 5 pounds. Is 2.5 pounds, you start with 2.5 pounds. Then you work on your reps. And as you increase your reps, you increase your weight. And I am just looking at over this short period of time, because I've been tracking, right? I have notes in my phone. I'm looking at where I am today, where I was last week. The weights that I have been able to lift and pull over this period of time, I have seen a drastic difference. And then when I realized, like, wait a minute, what I am using is starting to feel light. My trainer is like, right, we're going to add to that, and we're going to just keep getting stronger and stronger. While my trainer does have goals for me, like maybe a goal for 3 months from now, and 6 months from now, and a year from now, what I like about it is that he will like throw it in between any conversation, but there's no pressure. It's just like something that I could probably look forward to and focus on. But even though that might be the goal, that can be tweaked and changed just in case we notice something. We might realize that, okay, we can't go here because we need to focus on this, and I might be staying a little bit longer on this, and that's completely okay. There's no stress. There is no pressure. That has really taken a lot of the anxiety out of going to the gym and working out for me. And I guess with all of that I'm saying, you will realize that your workouts need to be tailored to you. Now, it's great to do group exercises and group workouts, and a lot of gyms and so on offer those things, and those are great. But if you are noticing certain things in your health, or you realize that you're probably having certain aches or pains, or you notice certain things in your body, it might be worth the investment to really try to get like that one-on-one training, that one-on-one instruction to learn about your body anatomy, to learn about your body structure. Probably check where there may be certain issues in your muscles, in your bones, things that you may need to fix both in the gym or things that you may also need to medically check out. All these are discussions that I've had with my trainer over that period of time. And at the beginning, I was like, do I really want to pay this extra money beside like gym fees and so on? And now paying for his service is one of the best investments I have made in me. The next thing that happened is that my eating habits changed. So in general, I am not an early eater. I'm still not an early eater. But of course, the days that I work out, and because I'm working out, I'm realizing like my body really needs extra. I used to avoid carbs like the plague. I would have carbs, right? So it's not like if I would say that I'm completely no carb. I would have carbs like if we go out to dinner, we're on vacation, family having something, I go to an event, no problem. I'll eat the rice, I'll eat the roti and so on. But on my everyday, day-to-day thing, I like really, really control that. But that wasn't helping me with weight loss. And then, of course, in having discussions and so on, I realized that for my workouts, I will need to have some carbs. Of course, healthy carbs managed in my routine with my protein, my veggies, etc. But that has been one of the biggest shifts in terms of my general lifestyle. Now, as I mentioned before, one of my big concerns that I had for a very, very long time is that although I was working out, eating healthy and so on, I just haven't been able to lose weight. I've been stuck at the same weight for like 5+ years, no matter what I do. Even if the scale goes down 1-2 pounds, it gets back to where it was very, very quickly. And if you're somebody dealing with hormonal issues like PCOS, then you already know that adds a bit of difficulty to weight loss. So think about when you get into your 40s or you're going through perimenopause and there are also additional hormonal shifts. Losing weight is like the difficulty is like that multiplied by 100. When I tell you, it is so hard. But you know what? The weight loss is not my focus anymore. And has the scale budged? Not really. And I'm understanding that when you're working on building muscle, that muscle weighs a little bit more. And it may take a while to see weight going down on the scale. But I have had people that has come up to me and tell me like there's something different about you. And I'm talking about people who don't know that I started working out. And I've also had people who know that I'm working out who have told me they are seeing changes in my body. I could barely see it. I do notice that some things fit a little bit differently. And I am just grateful. I'm grateful for all these small wins at this point. But I'm also really, really glad because this entire experience has really shifted my focus off of the weight loss. And as I focus more on just being healthy, I feel like that's a bit of anxiety that has really just been thrown off my shoulder. I know I'm on my way in terms of improving my health, and that just really gives me like, a real peace, if that makes sense. And finally, workouts have become a big part of my mental wellness. Like just like skincare is very, very therapeutic for me. That's how working out has become. Like, who is this Sherry? Who is this person that's actually saying this? When I tell you I've become addicted, this is almost kind of like some kind of substance or drug. Because, one of the reasons why I didn't start the gym before is because I couldn't fit it into my schedule at all. And when I started, I told myself I'm giving it like an hour max 3 times for the week. And I knew that I was already going to affect the rest of my schedule and what I'll be able to get done in my day, because I have to take in consideration preparation, getting there, the transit to the gym, coming back, having to shower again, change up again and all that. That like takes a significant amount of time out of my regular activities. Now I'm in the gym 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. And is that having an impact on the rest of my life? Yes. But you know what? Those things may just have to wait, because this has now become a big priority. Like me and my health is a priority. And you know what else? On the days that I work out, even though I will feel that physical exertion and maybe the physical exhaustion, those are the days where I have my best performance, both in the day and in the night, if you know what I mean. And of course, my husband is loving this particular side effect. I think that's about it in terms of what I want to talk about now. This has been a huge, huge shift for me. For those of you who might know me personally, know my lifestyle, know the type of schedule that I have, this has been a huge shift for me, but it has been one that I have been absolutely loving. And all I really want to say is if I can, you definitely can. The shifts in mindset to what I put my focus on now having my husband, who is just a really, really amazing guy. He is just the best support ever. And I think the other pivotal thing was finding not just a trainer, but the trainer that I have is the right trainer for me. And I kind of thank God enough for having all of these things come together at this point in time in my life. Because right now I'm motivated. I'm really, really motivated. And I'm looking forward to the next 6 months, the next year, etc. And this is not something that I'm thinking about just to do for a period of time, just based on the changes that I have felt and seen in my body. This honestly has to be a lifestyle thing, just like your skincare routine. But guys, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. So many of you have been cheering me on and rooting for me when I've been sharing on Instagram and so on about all of this. Thank you so much. You all are the best. But also understand that because of the gymming, I'm also not able to do as many consultations because I've had to drop the number of appointments that I do because of this. But I really have to. I mean, I would earn money from consultations, but my health is definitely more important. So we have less appointments, yes, but we will get through it. Don't worry. Thank you again so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have any comments, any questions, any advice for me as well, leave it in the comments down below. I know it's going to be helpful, not just for me, but for others. And I'll see you guys in another video soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.